Ray commends the ladies for their impeccable timing in taking down the barrier. Yuri then finally summons the courage to ask Ray how it is that he is able to use so many skills. Ray takes a minute, but he finally answers, revealing that he has an ability called Skill Drain. The girls are confused by this, and Ray explains that just by touching, he is able to steal someone else's skill. It finally dawns on Yuri what happened during their duel. However, Ray assures Yuri that he has. Aya, on the other hand, is totally blown away because she wasn't expecting Ray to have such an overpowered skill. She finally realizes why Ray wanted them to take on the dungeon, and she concludes that they are in safe hands as long as Ray is with them. Aya is also determined to make sure that she is not a burden to the team. With this, the team continues their advance deeper into the dungeon, and shortly afterward, they arrive at the boss's room. Aya points out that the rumbling of the ground is getting more intense. She is forced to ask if they really have what it takes to take on the boss monster. Ray then tells Aya that they have undergone a level increase on their way to the boss's room, and with this, he believes that they should be able to pull it off. Aya admits that the dude is right with his analysis, and she is ready to prove herself to the team that she is not a drawback. Suddenly, something appears behind and grabs Aya before any of them can react. They turn around to see a terrifying creature, a level 89 Grim Reaper, which is the boss of the dungeon. Ray is ultimately shocked and terrified since the boss shouldn't be out of its room. This leaves several questions running through his head, but the main focus of everything is that they are in a deep mess. Ray then tells Yuri that things might look bad, but they have no choice but to save Aya. Ray screams at Aya to make sure that she is fine. Apparently, Aya was able to cast a mana barrier to prevent herself from getting crushed, but at the same time, Ray is worried because Aya might have a large pool of mana, but there is still a limit to it. Even though the best option for him is to use his Abyss Flame, he can't, since Aya will be caught in the crossfire. The only solution to the problem is to actually find a way to help her out of the situation. Ray then tells Yuri that he is going to try his best to get the tentacle's attention, and he urges her to find a way to save Aya. With a seemingly solid plan, the two charge toward the monster.
Ray puts himself directly where the monster is facing and almost gets hit with a tentacle, but he narrowly dodges it. The damage from the tentacle shatters the floor, shocking Ray. He immediately figures out that he is done for if he suffers a direct hit. Just when he thinks he is out of danger, one of the tentacles appears from behind. Aya believes that the dude is done for as she screams out his name in pain. Fortunately for Ray, he was able to get himself out of the tight situation using Mana Hand, and he heaved a sigh of relief. While the entire chaos is unfolding, Yuri has gotten the chance to reach the monster. She swings her scythe, hoping to land a critical hit, but her attack bounces off, and this is when they realize that the monster has a strengthening skill. Yuri is forced to retreat before she gets crushed between the monster's large tentacles. Ray checks on her, and she assures the dude that she is doing quite fine. However, the two could see that there was something strange about the whole thing. Basically, tentacle monsters always have low defense, and this is the first time that Ray will be seeing one with a strengthening skill. In addition to the list of weird things going on around the monster, is that it is outside its room. Unknown to him, Kronos is playing a big role in everything that is unfolding right in front of him. However, the monster is coming at them with so much rage that they don't have the time to start thinking of what to do. While she is stuck inside her protective barrier, Aya believes that what the other two are facing is basically her fault. She figures out that she has been too passive because she is always relying on Ray to fix things. She starts racking her brain to think of something that he can actually do to help out in the situation. Yuri and Ray soon have a huge problem on their hands because they are almost out of mana, thanks to the number of battles that they have been involved in. Ray is about to give up on this situation when he suddenly remembers something. He screams at Aya, telling her to hit them with her mana fusion. Aya is shocked to hear this, and the same goes for Yuri, who thinks the skill is useless, since it consumes a lot of mana. Ray understands why they think this because the skill was considered useless in his past life too, but thanks to a certain mage, the skill's value was later discovered. This said mage is none other than Aya herself, as she was the one who figured it out before the regression. Aya is also conflicted about the skill since he hasn't used it before, but since Ray is asking her to do it, she is willing. Just then, Aya lets loose of her skill, and it hits the two just as planned. Surprisingly, Yuri realizes that her mana is starting to recover, but Ray just smiles because he knows the essence of the skill. Apparently, mana fusion has an effect that shares the mana of the user, but it is a skill that only a mage with a large amount of mana can master. Aya is excited when she sees this, but suddenly she realizes that the amount of mana that she is sharing is not enough. It then dawns on her that her mana sharing is restricted because of the mana barrier she activated. To properly help the team, she releases her mana barrier, giving the monster the chance to grab her tightly. However, Aya is able to release all of her for the two to operate with. Once she is done doing this, she weakly tells the two that the rest is up to them.
With the sacrifice of their teammate, the two get hyper-determined to take down the monster no matter what. The two charge toward the monster, ready to tear it apart to save Yuri. Since their mana has been restored, they have what it takes to cut through the monster's defenses using their enhancement skill. They start decimating the monsters left and right, and Rei urges Yuri to maintain the momentum so that they can save Aya. Rei gets the chance to get to Aya, but the monster is a step ahead of them. The monster immediately moves Aya's position, making things even harder for them. Rei easily figures out that with the way things are going, they won't be able to get to Aya. However, Yuri assures him that she is going to open a path for him. Yuri then taps into her primary skill to unleash so much aura, creating stairs for Rei to climb on so he can reach Aya. Rei is thankful for the assist and he dashes toward Aya with the stairs. The monster tries to block his path with some of its tentacles, but Rei easily cuts them down with sheer fury. With so much speed and determination, he reaches Aya and he cuts her down from the monster's grasp. Rei manages to reach the ground, and he checks on Aya to make sure that she is fine. Aya opens her eyes and smiles, saying Rei is just as impressive as ever. Yuri then rushes over, telling Aya that she actually saved them with her skill. Yuri admits that Aya has some nerves about her. Even though they have rescued Aya, the primary mission to take down the monster remains. Rei and Yuri rush toward the monster, but things get even harder because it regenerates its tentacles. Yuri realizes that they have found themselves in a tough situation, and she asks Rei what their next move should be. Rei then tells Yuri to leave the rest to him, and even though she is skeptical, she agrees to let him do what he wants. Rei dashes toward the monster, assuring Yuri that he is going to finish it off. Yuri is shocked when she realizes that Rei is running toward the monster without a weapon in hand. Just as Rei is about to reach the monster's main body, it regenerates one of its tentacles to block his path. Rei then taps into the overclock power, hoping to double his firepower before using the Abyss Flame. His entire body is engulfed in a dark aura as he unleashes a powerful flame at the monster, ultimately tearing its head open. The monster crashes to the ground, and this shocks Kronos, who wasn't expecting the Grim Reaper to be defeated. Nonetheless, he is determined to make sure that Rei and his friends don't make it out alive. The team is still celebrating their win when a dark fluid emerges from the monster's defeated body and heads straight at Aya. It almost impales her, but Rei is able to get her out of the way just in time. Rei realizes that the fluid is getting more powerful, and he screams at the girls to make a run for it. As they run toward the exit, Rei is hoping that they don't die, since they have managed to stop the dungeon from collapsing. Just as they are about to reach the exit, the fluid gets the edge over them. The trio is about to be swallowed up when a golden shield covers them, and a stern voice tells them to step aside. The team turns around to check out their savior, who is none other than the powerful Oikawa Hikaru. The girls are shocked when Oikawa introduces himself because Rei had mentioned his name before they entered the dungeon. Rei admits that he is the same guy whom he wanted help from. Basically, Oikawa is stronger than them all because he is currently an S-rank mage. In addition to this, he was known as the Yellow King before Rei's regression. Rei knows that they would have been toast if Oikawa had not arrived just in time to shield them with his barrier magic. Oikawa winks at them, saying he is glad that he made it just in time to save them. Oikawa mentioned that he was in another dungeon, which was a request from the country. However, he was contacted by someone who is none other than Hinata. Oikawa then shocks Rei by telling him that he knows him, since he is Kai's brother. Oikawa assures Rei that he has nothing to worry about because he was merely interested in him. Rei is relieved to hear this, and he finally thanks Oikawa for the assist. Oikawa doesn't take it as something really serious, and he tells Rei that he actually did something impressive to have defeated the boss of the dungeon. Just then, the mana stone from defeating the monster drops, and Oikawa is shocked at how big the stone is. Oikawa figures out that the dungeon boss is pretty strong, and he throws the mana stone to Rei, who barely grabs it before it falls off. Oikawa congratulates Rei, saying he's looking forward to more from him. After saying this, Oikawa steps out of the dungeon, and the team follows suit. When they enter the association building, Yuri mentions that Oikawa is an interesting fellow, and Rei agrees with her. Hinata is shocked when she sees the team coming, and she starts screaming, asking if they are okay. Hinata has been worried about the team since they were taking too long in the dungeon. Hinata scolds Rei for heading straight into the dungeon after submitting his application form, even though the dungeon is more dangerous than the others. Hinata then asks them about the progress of the dungeon, expecting that they would still be at the entrance level. Hinata and her fellow attendants almost have a brain seizure when Rei mentions that they have conquered the entire dungeon. They can't believe their eyes and ears, causing them to scream like maniacs. The information about the Ikebukuro dungeon being conquered soon starts flying around. Guilds start running around to try to reach the person who conquered the dungeon. When addressing the press, Aya says she finally has enough money to cover her sister's medical bills, and in addition, she thanks Rei for the great opportunity. Isoyama and her party members are totally salty when they see this, but Isoyama still wants to believe that Aya is cheating. The same thing applies to Kai, who is utterly pissed about Ray being the one who conquered the dungeon. The news about Ray conquering the dungeon spread everywhere, especially since he was known as colorless before. Group chats went wild with friends calling each other out, suggesting that they all apologize for trash-talking Ray.
No way, they found my base already? Let's get this siege crossbow armed. 5 coins? Sheesh, just enough. I don't like how close they are though. We need 15 more coins ASAP. Oh great, they're coming from both sides now? I don't know if I can handle 2 at once. This big beaver better have gold or I am screwed. Oh god, I hope he doesn't destroy my town center. Get him quickly. Wow, we need these coins for the second crossbow like yesterday. We've taken so much damage already, and look how many there are. This is insane. Well, at least there's one more big beaver. I mean, 2 crossbows can take him out easily. And bang, just like that. We may just survive after all. Wait, 3 more big beefers? You're looking at King Shot, a tower defense and kingdom strategy game with no ads in sight while you play. You're not just holding the line. You're expanding your town, training troops, and growing stronger through upgrades and abilities. It's been crushing strategy game charts all year, and the player base is still going strong right now. You've got PvP, PvE, loot to gather, heroes to level, and events dropping all the time. So, think you've got what it takes to be king.
King Shot, build and fight.
Talking Ray. While everyone is talking about how impressive Ray is, he is thinking about how he is going to get stronger, since he was able to conquer the dungeon thanks to the help he got from others. 3 days later, Ray heads to the association because Hinata summoned him, claiming that there is something he needs to hear. Ray and the girls are shocked when Hinata tells them that they have received a request to conquer a certain dungeon. Aya can't believe this because they just became A-rank mages, and Hinata says this is possible thanks to their recent achievement. Basically, dungeon explorations are usually requested by mages themselves, but being offered a formal request is something the association only allows to a certain number of mages. Aya smiles, telling Ray that everyone is counting on him, but Ray disagrees, saying the entire party is needed. Ray then asks Hinata who made the request, but she tells Ray that she can't answer because the higher-ups told her to keep it a secret. As expected, Yuri wants them to accept the mission just because it sounds fun. Ray is obliged to accept since it was made via the association, so it shouldn't be anything suspicious. Just then, Hinata mentions that an S-rank mage will be accompanying them on the mission. The following day, the party heads to the location where they are to meet the said S-rank mage. Aya is curious to see who the person will turn out to be. Momentarily, they run into the person, and to their greatest surprise, it is Oikawa. As they step into the dungeon, Ray mentions that he never thought Oikawa would be the one to escort them, and Oikawa smiles, saying he already knew, but he wanted to keep it a surprise. Oikawa then mentions that he is looking forward to the mission because the whole world is also watching them. Aya is blown away by how carefree Oikawa is, and Ray agrees with her, but reminds her that the dude is still an S-rank mage even at that. Ray then asks Oikawa if it is true that there is a tricky mechanism inside the dungeon, and Oikawa says yes. Apparently, the scout team came back with a report that there was a wall of fire blocking the path. Ray is curious about this, and he asks how they are supposed to deal with it. Oikawa then reminds them that he has his barrier skill, and as long as he is with them, the firewall means nothing. Ray notices that the dude is overconfident, and he wonders if he thinks the dungeon will be easy. As if Oikawa can hear his thoughts, he tells Ray that he will see how cool he is once he sees him in action, because he will be the one carrying the entire team. Suddenly, a wave of monsters appears on the scene, and Ray tells his team to get ready to fight. He is also interested in seeing how strong an S-rank mage really is. Suddenly, he spots Oikawa sitting in the corner with fear written all over his face. Oikawa tells the trio to handle the monsters because he is not quite familiar with the type of monsters that they are currently going up against. Aya reminds Oikawa of what he said about being the main man, but Ray just tells his team to face the monster and forget about the coward. The trio takes their stance and they start hurling out long-range attacks at the incoming monsters. Yuri confidently goes after the monsters, saying that they are nothing compared to the monsters that they fought in the past. Aya and Yuri take out the majority of the monsters, and Ray finishes off the rest with his fire lance. Oikawa is blown away when he sees this, and after the monsters have been defeated, Aya excitedly celebrates with Ray. Oikawa finally stands up from where he was hiding, claiming that he hates bugs, and he is thankful that they saved his life. Suddenly, some wolves appear from behind and charge toward Oikawa, but he gets serious and pins them down in a square box, ultimately killing them off pretty easily. Ray and his team are shocked when they see this, and Ray asks Oikawa what sort of skill he just used. Oikawa mentions that the skill is called the square box, and it is one of his barrier skills. However, the skill can't be used against a large foe.
Ray is completely amazed because he has heard of it before, but this is the first time he will be witnessing it. Once the monsters are taken care of, Oikawa suggests that they keep moving. As Ray walks behind him, he is completely in awe of Oikawa because he is an embodiment of what an S rank should look like. Momentarily, they arrive at the wall of fire, and it is just as the report said. The intensity of the fire can be felt some meters away without even going close. Just then, Oikawa steps forward, and he creates a path through the fire with his barrier magic. The team excitedly walks through the passage, and they soon find another hole, which leads to the boss's room. Since they are all ready, Ray suggests that they move into the boss's chambers. Deep down, Oikawa is waiting to see what Ray is capable of because he wants to know if he is a fraud or he is the real deal. As they step into the room, Ray complains about how hot it is, which obviously signifies the power of the foe they are about to engage. The boss finally steps out, and it turns out to be a level 68 Flamegarm. Just the appearance of the boss alone sends shivers down Ray's spine. Ray panics as the monster walks toward them, and he tells the team to put up a mana barrier. However, Oikawa tells him that there is no need for this. The monster unleashes its flame breath on them, but Oikawa easily blocks it using his barrier magic. This ultimately blows Ray's mind, and Oikawa tells Ray that he will handle defense while they handle offense. Ray acknowledges the order, but he takes a moment to think about what to do. He figures out that the barrier could fail at any time if it gets hit severely. Ray thinks of using his Abyss Flame, but he quickly ditches the idea because the monster is quite fast. And in addition, it is a boss-level monster. Since the mana usage for the Abyss Flame is quite high, Ray figures out that he's just going to have to take down the monster in another way. Ray then leads the charge while telling Yuri and Aya to find a gap to attack. As he approaches the monster, Ray activates his body enhancement and leaps toward it. Ray deceives the monster into thinking he is about to attack him head-on, but Ray maneuvers behind it before landing a critical hit. Yuri and Aya also support from behind as they launch their long-range attacks at the boss monster. Even with the combined attack, the monster remains mobile.
I didn't know how to explain what I wanted to the hairstylist, so I used AI to unlock my perfect look. Just open the camera and let AI analyze your face and colors based on your features. It's mind-blowing. Try it for yourself and unlock your best style today.
Get electronics and more delivered to your doorstep on Instamart.
Remains mobile, and this just confirms Ray's fear that the monster is quite strong. Ray figures out that they are going to be at a disadvantage if the battle continues longer than expected. Ray is already sweating from the intense heat, and he realizes that defeating the monster quickly is paramount. Meanwhile, Oikawa is watching from behind, waiting to see what Ray is going to do, since he has found himself in such a dire situation. Just then, Ray tells Yuri and Aya to start directing their attacks toward the monster's feet instead of its body. Yuri and Aya gladly accept his plan, and they immediately send their attacks to the monster's feet. Aya even takes it a step further by hitting the monster with a skill called Stone Bullet. This forces the monster to start jumping around, but Ray figures out that no matter how agile it is, there is no way it will be able to dodge attacks in the air. Ray leaps toward the monster, and just as he is about to get to the monster, he covers his blade in ice, leaving Oikawa in awe. With the monster unable to move freely in the air, Ray lands a critical hit that sends it crashing to the ground, totally defeating it. The girls rush over to him as usual to congratulate him, but he tells them that it is all thanks to them. Oikawa is impressed with the teamwork that he just saw, and he concludes that Ray is just as the report said. However, Oikawa can see that Ray is still hiding his true power. Just then, Ray suggests that they head back to the association to make their reports, but Oikawa tells him to wait. Oikawa whips out the square box and tells Ray that he would like to test him. Oikawa tells Ray that the box can be used to capture monsters, but at the same time, it can also be used as a method for training. Oikawa then comes clean, telling Ray that he wants to see his true power. Because of this, Oikawa wants Ray to defeat the monsters sealed inside the box. He assures him that he is going to reseal the monsters if it starts getting dangerous, but it will be up to him to tell him to do it or not. Ray finally realizes why Oikawa followed them, and even though he doesn't know his true motives yet, Ray cannot let go of an opportunity to gain more experience. Ray then accepts Oikawa's request, and Oikawa unseals the square box. Just then, a terrifying black shadow appears from the box. Apparently, the monster residing in the box is one that changes its appearance depending on the fear of its opponent. Oikawa is excited to see what sort of appearance he will see, and just as expected, Ray's greatest fear, Kronos, gently emerges from the box. Oikawa is shocked to see this, since it is the first time he will be seeing such a monster. While Oikawa is excited about the whole new experience, Rei is freaking out. Yuri and Aya wonder why the black shadow suddenly transformed into a humanoid form, and with the look of things, they can clearly see that it is not a normal monster. At the same time, Oikawa wonders what sort of monster he is staring at, and whether Rei had fought the monster in the past. Rei, on the other hand, is surprised that even though he is not facing the real Kronos, he is still feeling the overwhelming aura coming from it. Rei then pushes his fear aside, and he goes after the monster with the intention of landing the first shot, but Kronos pulls out his long red sword and blocks the attack. Even though his attack is parried, Rei doesn't feel intimidated, and this motivates him. Before Kronos can land a counterstrike, he leaps backwards to dodge. Suddenly, he notices that Kronos' eyes are changing colors. At the last second, Rei moves out of the way, and out of nowhere, a devastating shockwave attack hits behind him. This shocks the trio watching the fight because they didn't even know when Kronos put the attack into motion. Even though it is an invisible attack, Oikawa is impressed with the fact that Rei was able to dodge it. Unknown to them, Rei was only able to dodge this because he had faced Kronos before his regression. Rei then cooks up an ice spear, and he dashes toward Kronos, but as he draws closer, he sees Kronos smiling at him. This distracts him, giving Kronos the chance to punch him into the distance. Aya screams out in fear, believing that Rei is done for, but thankfully, he is able to tank the hit. Rei starts getting worried because he didn't expect Kronos to nullify his attack so easily. Aya then tells Oikawa that the whole thing is getting dangerous, and he agrees. Oikawa decides to retrieve the shadow back into the box, and he stretches his hand to activate his power. Surprisingly, he realizes that something is wrong. Yuri also notices that Oikawa is worried and nothing is happening. She urges him to quickly retrieve the box, and Oikawa replies that he is trying, but the shadow is resisting him. This is when it dawns on them that something beyond their power might have gotten out. Even Oikawa is surprised because the box has never done that in the past. Since the monster appears to have gotten out of hand, Yuri and Aya decide to step in. They dash toward the monster before Rei can stop them. They both unleash their attacks at the same time, but Kronos easily deflects them and sends them flying with a powerful counterattack. The two crashed into the ground, leaving a massive explosion. Rei watches in horror as he tries to see if the two are still alive. Oikawa then apologizes for the way things have turned out. He tells Rei that he is going to fix everything, and he activates his barrier magic to restrain Kronos. Oikawa's confidence is soon shattered when Kronos gives off an evil smirk before shattering the restriction on his body. Fear grips Rei and Oikawa because they didn't expect Kronos to be able to break free of Oikawa's barrier magic. Oikawa admits that they are in trouble, and if care is not taken, they are just going to get wiped out. Rei then takes a moment to assess the situation, and he figures out that the fake Kronos is using some sort of strange skill. He then figures out that the monster is recreating the appearance and skills of Kronos from his memory. The solution to the whole thing immediately comes to his mind, and he tells Oikawa to back down. Rei remembers that in his past life, he was running away from Kronos, but as things stand, he will only remain stuck if he doesn't make a move. Rei then takes a huge leap toward the monster because he has figured out that the monster changed its appearance because of the strange skill. Just as he gets closer to the monster swings its sword hard at Rei, but he dodges it. Rei then gets the chance to close the distance to touch the monster.
ಹರ್ಷ್ ನೀನು ತುಂಬಾ ಮುನ್ನಡೆದೆ ಕಣೋ. ಏನ್ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ಯಾ ರಿಷಬ್? ಹೈಫೈ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಬುಕ್, ಟಾಪ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಪೇಪರ್, ನೀನೊಬ್ನೇ ಟಾಪ್ ತಲುಪಿದ್ದಿ ಕಣೋ.
How could you?
ನೀನು ಬಾ. ಬರೀ ಇಷ್ಟೇನಾ?
ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ಮೇಟ್ ನೋಟ್ಬುಕ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಸೂಪರ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಕ್ವಾಲಿಟಿ ಮತ್ತು ಅಫೋರ್ಡಬಲ್ ಕೂಡ.
आइसक्रीम से अच्छा कुछ नहीं।
ओए, इतनी तेजी से खाओगी तो तुम्हारे पेट में दर्द होने लगेगा।
आन्या के पास 3 फ्लेवर वाली आइसक्रीम है, तो कुछ नहीं होगा।
अब ये क्या बात हुई?
Once he does, he activates the skill drain, letting off a huge energy blast. However, Rei's plan works, and the monster turns to dust, signaling its defeat. Oikawa is left in shock as sweat runs down his face, asking himself what sort of skill he just saw Rei use. This is when he finally starts questioning just who exactly Rei is. 3 days later, Yuri and Oikawa meet in a strange building, and as they walk down the hallway, they talk about the events of the past few days. Yuri tells Oikawa that he should be happy that Rei even forgave him for what happened. Oikawa agrees with Yuri, but he lets Yuri know that Rei is far more amazing than what she actually reported. They soon arrive at a giant door, and sitting inside the large room is the Blue King, Hojo Itsuki. The two bow to him to pay their respects, and he urges them to remain free. Apparently, Hojo has been away for some time, exploring dungeons in other countries. Oikawa is surprised that Hojo is taking on so many tasks, and Hojo lets him know that the higher-ups of the association are always demanding, and he has no choice. Since someone has to do it, Yuri then talks about why Hojo was also summoned, which means the dungeon he went to is as dangerous as the Ikebukuro dungeon. Yuri is impressed that Hojo had to take on that kind of dungeon in 10 different locations, which shows just how powerful he is. Hojo then suggests that they move over to the main business of the day. He tells the two that he would like to hear more about Rei. The two agree to this, and moments later they have told him everything they can about Rei. Hojo is impressed, and Oikawa agrees with him, saying Rei is quite powerful, and with the look of things, he might even be stronger than him, who is an S-rank mage. Hojo is surprised that not only does Rei have excellent combat skills, but he also has a skill that allows him to steal others' skills. Unknown to Hojo and Oikawa, Yuri still has more to say, but she is keeping it in because she might just end up blowing their minds. Hojo admits that with everything he has heard, Rei piques his interest, and before they leave, he asks them for a favor. Later on, Rei and Aya are strolling past the reception in the association building when Hinata frantically calls Rei's name. Rei rushes over, asking her what the issue is. Hinata looks sad as she tells Rei that she has no idea what Rei must have done to deserve what she is about to tell him. Rei then asks her what the problem is, and Hinata lets him know that he has been summoned by the Blue King because he wants to meet Rei in person. Not long after this, Rei heads to Hojo's palace to meet him. Rei is blown away the moment he gets to lay his eyes on Hojo, the Blue King. In his past life, Hojo was known as the true color king amongst the other kings. Apparently, Rei also adored Hojo because he was strong, and then he made sure to protect the weak. Rei was always drawn to his words, which is why he aimed to become a great person like him. However, something terrible happened back then because Hojo was caught in the torrent of a dungeon collapse, and he was killed in battle. This basically happened because he sacrificed himself as a shield to protect the civilians during the evacuation. In return, he became a hero who died to save countless lives. However, now, in the present timeline, Rei wonders what Hojo might want with him. Rei is still racking his brain about this when Yuri shows up in the room, shocking him because Oikawa is also in the room. Hojo then tells Rei that he's going to explain everything to him. He reveals that Oikawa and Yuri are scouts who are responsible for scouting talented people from around the world. They are members of the Apostles of the Holy Staff. Rei is shocked when he hears this because he has heard that name before. Aya then tells him that it is an elite group under the direct command of the Blue King himself. Hojo then confesses, revealing that he was the one who requested Rei to conquer the dungeon. In addition, he was also the one who made Oikawa follow him.
It finally dawns on Rei that they wanted to see his real strength, which is why they asked him to fight the monster. Yuri also confesses that she joined Rei's party because it looked fun. Hojo comes clean, telling Rei that he is interested in him and that he would like Rei to join them. However, he lets Rei know that he would like to see his humanity first because there is still a lot that remains hidden when it comes to mages with multiple colors. Hojo then asks Rei what it is that he wants. Rei then takes a moment to think about it before giving his answer, and he tells Hojo that he wants to get stronger than anyone else. Hojo then asks him if he is trying to become the strongest mage and also become the king of a color who surpasses him as a person. Before giving his answer, Rei thinks about it for a minute, and with passion he gives his answer, telling Hojo that he would like to be stronger than him.
Hojo lets him know that he is pleased with his answer, and with this, he asks Rei if he would like to join the Apostles of the Holy Staff. Rei and Aya are both shocked when they hear Hojo's offer, and Hojo adds that he is pretty sure that Rei is going to do well alongside competent people. After accepting the offer, Oikawa tells Rei to follow him, and not long after this, they arrive at a room filled with the elite mages who are under Hojo's command, the Apostles of the Holy Staff. One of the members, Kurahashi, is the first to speak out, mentioning his disappointment about the fact that Rei is still young. The others in the room are forced to remind him that he is the same age as Rei, and this is just how he acts when he is excited. Oikawa then tells Rei to take his seat so he can explain the request from Hojo to everyone. Oikawa then explains to the group that their mission is to conquer 2 dungeons, and both dungeons are high-level dungeons with a recommended level above 65. To do this, they are going to divide themselves into 2 teams to simultaneously take on the 2 dungeons. Oikawa mentions that those who will go to Makuhari Dungeon are himself, Yashiro, Shiroi, and Azuma. On the other hand, Rei and his party will go to the Tama Dungeon, but they are going to be accompanied by Kurahashi. Kurahashi freaks out when he hears this, demanding to know why he is paired with Rei and his gang. Yuri teases him, asking him if he is unhappy about it, and Kurahashi replies that he is not. Oikawa then tells Kurahashi that he has nothing to worry about because Rei is skilled enough, and in addition he possesses 3 colors of mana. Kurahashi disagrees that having a wide variety of mana means one is strong enough because Rei's brother Kai was also the same. Rei is shocked when he hears Kai's name, and Kurahashi reveals that Kai was a member of the Apostles of the Holy Staff. He adds that they might call Kai the Purple King, but he is still nothing compared to them. Rei then remembers that Yuri said the same thing about Kai, and this tells Rei that this is just how people now see Kai.
Kurahashi continues with his yapping, talking about how multiple colors don't mean one is strong. In addition, he believes that Oikawa was the one who helped Rei clear the Ikebukuro dungeon. In essence, Kurahashi is saying Rei is a weakling. Aya then flares up telling Kurahashi that he is wrong because Rei is not weak. She mentions that Kurahashi can only have the right to judge him when he has seen what Rei can do with his own eyes. Thanks to Aya's scream, Kurahashi finally folds, and he agrees to join Rei's party to conquer the dungeon. Since everyone is in agreement, Oikawa tells them that they are going with the same plan. He lets Kurahashi know that he is going to witness Rei's power by himself. Kurahashi still thinks Oikawa is glazing Rei, and he urges him to stop emphasizing it. As they prepare for the mission, Rei knows that it is imperative he shows his strength, but at the same time he needs more comrades when he finally wants to face Kronos. And even though Kurahashi's grating, he still needs him. Not long after, they arrive at the Tama dungeon, and in no time, a horde of monsters approaches them. Rei is still trying to tell the team that they need to work together when Kurahashi cuts in, telling them that working together is stressful. Without consulting the rest of the team, Kurahashi leaps toward the monsters with a powerful fist attack imbued with flames. Just one punch from him shatters the ground and unleashes a massive shockwave that almost throws Aya off the ground. With just a single strike, Kurahashi wipes out the horde of monsters and he teases Rei, telling him that he is pretty sure he can't do what he just did. Just like before, Kurahashi leaps off again, telling the team that he is just going to conquer the dungeon solo. Rei then turns to the girls, letting them know that he has no intentions of losing to Kurahashi. With this, he runs after Kurahashi, leaving the girls behind. Rei wipes out a bunch of monsters at the same time, and Kurahashi lets him know that his move is getting slightly better. Rei thanks him for the compliment, and he continues what he is doing. Aya complains about how the whole thing has turned into one big mess.
This AI matches your face to the
Complains about how the whole thing has turned into one big mess, but Yuri tells her that she should be proud because Rei is keeping up with Kurahashi. Yuri mentions that Kurahashi's skill is special because he can use his mana consecutively over a wide area. This is basically why Kurahashi is a menace to a large group of enemies. Yuri mentions that Kurahashi currently holds the title of the man who slayed the most monsters, but even with this, Rei is managing to keep up with such a man. With a smile on her face, Yuri declares that Rei is an amazing mage. 10 minutes later, they arrive at the boss room, shocking Aya. Deep down, Rei can feel something changing in him, and this is thanks to the fact that he is competing with Kurahashi. Upon entering the boss room, the team is stunned when they see a giant eye staring at them from above. The team is gearing up to fight the boss when they notice something weird happening. The boss starts drawing in all the monsters that they defeated. To their greatest surprise, the boss monster absorbed the dead monsters to ultimately become something even scarier, a chimera beast which has never been seen before. Since it is a monster that is unknown, Rei tries to tell Kurahashi that they need to be careful. However, Kurahashi ignores them and dashes toward the boss monster, talking about how he is not intimidated. Kurahashi leaps toward the monster and delivers a fiery punch that leaves a huge flame in its wake. They all watched in patience to see if Kurahashi was able to defeat the monster. However, by the time the flame clears off, Kurahashi realizes that the monster is still standing, and it has blocked his attack with its arm. Before Kurahashi knows it, the monster's other arm is already reaching for his throat. Just as the monster is about to tear his head off, Rei comes into play, and he drags Kurahashi away from danger, using the mana hand. Rei asks him if he is fine, but he is clearly focused on not losing to Rei. Just then, they see the monster regenerating its damaged body, which makes it even more dangerous. As if this is not enough, the monster raises its head and starts preparing to fire what appears to be a laser. Without a doubt, Rei knows that it is going to be deadly, and he screams at his teammates, telling them to dodge. The laser hits, unleashing a deadly strike that the team knows they would have died if they hadn't dodged. Even Kurahashi is worried, but he is relieved that the monster doesn't have what it takes to fire the laser consecutively. Since this is the case, Yuri believes that it is time they get down to business too. She fires ice spears at the monster, but to her surprise, the monster sustains no damage. This is when she realizes that Kurahashi being able to damage the monster with his fire was no joke. Rei figures out that they are in a tight spot because if they continue waiting around, the monster is just going to fire another shot, which might be worse than before. Rei has plans to attack the monster's main body, but he knows it would just use its arms to get in the way again. Rei then figures out a way, and he tells Aya to cast Mana Fusion on Kurahashi. Aya is surprised to hear this, and Rei confirms that this is what he said. Aya then activates her power, bathing Kurahashi with so much mana that he is forced to scream out. Rei then tells Kurahashi to attack the monster's main body when they still have time. Kurahashi does as told, and he leaps toward the monster, delivering a powerful blast to its body. Even with the amount of firepower that Rei delivered to the monster's body, it is still standing. Annoyed, the monster starts cooking up another laser blast. The team starts freaking out,
but this is exactly what Rei wants. He dashes past Kurahashi, telling him that he really cleared the path. Rei closes down on the monster before it gets the chance to unleash its laser, and Rei cooks up his powerful black flame. Just as the monster fires its laser, Rei releases the black flame, ultimately overwhelming the laser and returning the damage to the beast. Rei's overwhelming power is enough to finish off the monster, leaving Kurahashi surprised. He knows that he couldn't even destroy the monster with his skill, and he is also impressed with Rei's decisiveness to break through in such a situation. Finally, Kurahashi is forced to admit that Rei is the real deal. Later on, the public hears about Rei's latest win, and everyone is blown away by the fact that Rei is showing incredible feats. Unfortunately, Kai is walking past when a dude talks down on him because Rei is now the cream of the crop. When Rei and his party return to the Apostles' building, Hojo commends them for doing a good job. He asks if the Tama dungeon provided more trouble than the previous dungeon, and Rei confirms this, saying they actually ran into a new type of monster. Oikawa then asks Kurahashi what he thinks of Rei after watching him fight. Kurahashi reluctantly replies that Rei isn't bad, and he adds that Rei has a good strategy too. One of the team members scolds Kurahashi for looking down on Rei, and even after seeing what he can do, he is still reluctant to admit that he is impressive. Kurahashi screams at the chick to shut her mouth before turning to Rei to apologize to him for calling him awful names. With this, Kurahashi admits that Rei is strong. Rei smiles when he hears this, and he tells Kurahashi that he is also glad that he helped him, so he doesn't actually need to apologize to him. Kurahashi tries so hard to hide how excited he is, and he covers it up with some bullshit, but everyone can see through his BS. Hojo is glad that Kurahashi has approved of Rei because there is no one to complain about him again. Hojo then stretches his hand to give Rei the badge of the Apostles, which means he is now a bona fide member of the team. Hojo lets him know that he is free to continue working with his party, but he urges Rei to always create time for them too. The two then shake hands on the deal. Meanwhile, Aya is totally dumbfounded because even though she is aware that Rei is impressive, it is a whole new standard to be recognized by one of the strongest mages. Kurahashi tries acting like a big bro, telling Rei that he is going to put him under his wings, but Yuri is there to ruin everything for him again, saying he is the one who needs a lesson. Kurahashi screams out in frustration, telling Yuri to just shut her mouth. On the other hand, Hojo is glad that he put Kurahashi on Rei's team because this has helped them to bond well. Oikawa also knows that Kurahashi would have been against Rei's recruitment if he didn't get to see what he could do firsthand. Oikawa is impressed by how smart Hojo is with his thinking.
Game night.
By how smart Hojo is with his thinking. Once everyone is in line with Rei's induction, Hojo speaks up, saying he has a suggestion. To Rei's surprise, Hojo urges him to take the title of the Black King. Meanwhile, Kai and his party are seen fighting monsters in a dungeon, and Kai doesn't look like himself. One of the team members urges him to use the overclock skill, totally forgetting that Kai can't use it anymore. After struggling for a while, the party is able to clear out the monsters. Kai's party members assume that they are going to rest, but Kai shocks them, telling them that they need to go deeper. His party members remind him that they have been in the dungeon for 5 days consecutively, and it would be better if they stop. Kai just tells the dude to shut his mouth and follow him. The dude then starts doubting if it is okay for them to follow Kai, but the other guy on the team scolds him, saying they need to support Kai because this is the time he needs their support the most. Deep down, Kai is thinking about how he is going to conquer the dungeon fast. He looks frustrated, and the whole saga with his brother is not helping. In fact, a reporter walked up to Kai just to ask him about his brother. They mentioned the fact that Hojo had recognized Rei, and hearing this contributes to his anger. Because of this, Kai is desperate to show his former team that he is the strongest. Elsewhere, Kronos is excited that he has found the right person to use as a pawn. In a quick revelation, the whole world changed when the dungeons appeared, and it became an era in which strong mages attained social status. Mages became a superstar who started signing major deals. Being a mage was already rare, but being a dual-colored mage was even rarer, and Kai turned out to be one of them. This immediately upgraded Kai's status, and he became the talk of the town. Everyone who had distanced themselves from Kai started running after him. Even the apostles who were proud allowed Kai to join them as the youngest member of the team. However, the team supposedly acted rudely toward him, and he left the group because they didn't recognize his abilities. Surprisingly, Rei was the only one who didn't treat him differently. Even though Rei didn't have any talent, Kai could see that Rei was always staring at him like he could catch up with him someday. Kai hated this because he believed that he was chosen by the world, and Rei was acting as if he could catch up to him. Because of this, Kai decided that he was going to show him that he is on another level. However, things appear to be different already. Nonetheless, Rei thinks he still has a chance. Kai is walking through the streets when Kurahashi appears behind him. Kurahashi reminds him that the last time they saw each other was when he got kicked out of the team. Kai is pissed to hear this as he tries to correct the notion, claiming that he quit and was not sacked. He believes that Hojo was jealous of his talents, which is why he was acting like a boss to him instead of treating him equally. Kai then mentions that he also heard about the fact that Rei became a member of the team, and Kurahashi asks him if he has any problem with this. Kai starts trash-talking Rei, but Kurahashi cuts him short, telling him to shut his mouth. Kurahashi gets serious as he speaks to Kai, telling him that he is free to think what he wants, but it has been confirmed that Rei's ability is real. He adds that Rei is keeping a low profile despite the fact that he is a dual-colored mage, unlike Kai. Kai flares up, telling Kurahashi to shut his mouth because he is the Purple King, which is the highest title a mage can hold. He urges Kurahashi to stop comparing him to Rei, but Kurahashi just smirks, telling Kai that he doesn't know anything. Kurahashi tells him that Rei has now gotten the recommendation to become a king, which came from Hojo personally. When Kai hears this, he almost faints in shock because he realizes that Rei is just about to become like him. Kurahashi then tells Kai that Rei hasn't given them their answer yet, and in addition, he lets Kai know that his brother is not chasing after titles like him. Kurahashi then ends the conversation by telling Kai that Rei is now above him, which is why he is suited to be a king. Kai freaks out because he can't actually admit the fact that Rei is about to go past him. Because of this, Kai has been pushing himself in the dungeons. After fighting for so long in the dungeon, his comrades advise that they fight the boss the next day, but Kai shuts them up, saying he is the strongest. Kai pushes open the boss room with the intention of proving to his comrades that he is strong. Surprisingly, what he meets inside the dungeon is a level 20 slime, and this disappoints Kai. His comrades, on the other hand, are scared that things are not sitting tight because they have never seen that type of monster before. In his quest to show that he is strong, Kai decides that he is going to kill the monster instantly. He aura farms as he hurls a magic blast at the slime, seemingly killing it. His team members commend him, telling him that he did it, but they have not even finished saying this when their heads fly off their necks like bowling pins. Kai frantically turns around to see his dead teammates. Before he knows what is going on, the slime has gotten bigger and has overwhelmed him. Kai tries to fight back, but the slime is just too strong and forces itself inside Kai's body, ultimately merging with him. Meanwhile, Kronos is rejoicing in his prison because he has finally gotten a new pawn. Moments later, Kai gets back on his feet, looking different, but he laughs out evilly, talking about how he now feels really good. On the other hand, part of the seal holding Kronos has broken. Elsewhere, at the Apostle Facility Training Center, Rei and the team are seen practicing. After some minutes of training, Oikawa suggests that they take a break. Aya rushes over to give Rei a towel to dry his face, and she also tells Kurahashi that she learned a lot just by watching him train. Kurahashi tries to hide his red face, but it is pretty clear that he is blushing really hard. Kurahashi then mentions that he met Kai earlier in the day.
Brew Gold Edition. ಹೊಸದಾ? Bombastic. Bombard?
Day. Kurahashi then reveals everything they talked about, laughing at how Kai thinks he is still stronger than him. Yuri finds a way to tease Kurahashi again, saying he personally went after Kai because he is looking down on someone he had approved himself. Kurahashi almost passes out in shock because Yuri isn't lying. However, Rei is not even focused on them because he is thinking about the last time he saw Kai, which was after the duel. He starts wondering when it is that he and Kai started drifting apart, and he fears that it might end as it did in his previous life. He then concludes that he has to settle everything, like brothers. Suddenly, another member of the team comes rushing over, telling them that there's been an emergency. It turns out that Shinjuku Dungeon has collapsed, and a lot of monsters are coming out of the dungeon. The team immediately rushes to the scene, and they express their shock that monsters are coming out of the dungeon. Rei is also surprised because the Shinjuku Dungeon isn't supposed to happen yet, but things have turned out weirdly. Oikawa then tells the team that they don't have the time to start thinking because the Blue King is far away on a mission. He lets them know that it is up to them to handle the situation, and he tells the team that they should prioritize evacuating the citizens. The team affirms Oikawa's instruction, and they swing into action, saving nearby civilians while trashing the monsters. While Kurahashi is busy running amok, Oikawa creates a barrier for the civilians to escape into. Rei is impressed that the team is carrying out their duties unfazed, which is expected of the special team. Rei remembers that in his previous life there were a lot of casualties during the dungeon break, but he is pretty sure that they will be able to manage the situation in his current life. Suddenly, a giant monster appears on the scene, which appears to the boss.
Kurahashi is excited to take on the monster because he sees it as nothing but a big target. Kurahashi is still gearing up to take on the monster when Rei comes flying at the monster. With just a punch from Rei, he shatters the monster into tiny bits. Rei is about to start celebrating when he hears an evil laugh behind him. He recognizes the voice, and when he turns around, he sees Kai with wings flying in the sky. To make it worse, Kai looks absolutely menacing as he stares down on Rei, telling him that he has found him. Rei watches in horror and surprise as he asks Kai why he looks the way he does. Kai laughs at Rei, asking him if he is talking about his form or about his aim to crush him. Surprisingly, Kai uses the plural word when saying this, hinting at the fact that there is something else inside him. Just then, Rei senses Kai behind him, and he reacts at the last second to avoid getting decapitated. Kai makes fun of Rei, saying he might have managed to dodge the strike, but he wonders just how far he is going to go. Kai continues attacking Rei, putting him on the defensive. Rei gets cut on the face at some point, but he could sense that his brother is not acting normally. He wonders what is going on with Kai, which is making him act like a monster. Rei continues dodging Kai's strikes, and at some point, Kai stops attacking. He tells Rei that he can see the expression on his face, which clearly shows that he is in denial. Kai then tells Rei that everything happening is his fault. Kai claims that he gained his monster form so he can have the power to kill Rei. Rei is shocked when he hears this because Kai using the word kill towards him is totally out of line. Rei stands frozen as Kai dashes at him, ready to finish him off. Fortunately, Kurahashi shows up at the right time to kick Kai in the face, sending him flying into the distance. Kurahashi still thinks Kai is normal, and he starts scolding him for going rogue during an emergency situation. Kai screams at Kurahashi to stop messing around, but Kurahashi yells back at him, telling him that Rei, whom he is trying to kill, is his brother. Kai then boastfully tells them that he doesn't care about brotherhood, because he is there to show Rei just how crazy his power is. Kai then leaps into the air, unleashing a barrage of attacks that even affects the civilian populace in the area. Thankfully, Oikawa's barrier is there to keep the civilians safe, and since he is protecting the civilians in the area, he can't help Rei and Kurahashi. Rei then screams at his brother, telling him that he is aware that he is violent, but at the same time, he doesn't expect him to go this far. Kai makes fun of Rei's naivety, telling him that he is going to crush him. Kai then hurls a barrage of magic blasts at the team. Kai boastfully talks about how amazing his power is, and Rei tells the team that they need to stop Kai. Kurahashi immediately takes this to heart, and his expression changes. Apparently, Kurahashi has seen that it is a waste of time talking to Kai. Kurahashi leaps toward Kai with the intention of blowing him to bits. Kurahashi successfully lands his attack, leaving a cloud of flames. However, when the fire clears off, Kurahashi realizes that Kai had successfully blocked his attack. By the time Kurahashi realizes that Kai is out of bounds, Kai has pushed his hand into his chest. Rei screams Kurahashi's name as Kai throws him to the ground, but he gets no response. Rei continues screaming Kurahashi's name without doing anything. And just as Kai is about to finish Kurahashi off, Oikawa joins the fight. He blocks Kai's attack with his barrier, and he protects Kurahashi too. Oikawa expresses his disappointment at how far Kai has fallen, and he lets him know that it is time he faces his wrath. Without hesitation, Oikawa unleashes his barrier magic, the square box to keep Kai in. Yuri tries telling Oikawa not to use this skill because using this skill against a human will put a lot of burden on the caster. Oikawa lets Yuri know that he is aware of this, but he can't forgive Kai because he has hurt his friends already. Oikawa continues closing Kai in, but he soon realizes that the skill is taking too much toll on him. In under a minute, Oikawa's hands started gushing out blood. Oikawa realizes that things are harder than he expected because he didn't expect to take this much damage. However, he is determined to seal Kai no matter what. Suddenly, Kai unleashes a bulk load of energy from his body, ultimately